Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Whitney Ward, and once again, I am joined by Mark Hanrahan, who is at his home tonight as we continue to practice social distancing. Hi, Mark.
Hey, good evening, Whitney. Yeah, day 3 of anchoring from my home, kind of settling into the routine right now. Everything is going well. Just about 10 feet from where I'm sitting, my wife is making enchiladas for dinner tonight, so I'm smelling that and pretty hungry at the moment. Okay, enough of that. More to this series headlines. A lot to get to today. We'll start with the U.S. Senate passing a huge bill to inject $2 trillion into the U.S. economy. President Donald Trump is looking, he says, to get Americans in many parts of the country out of the house and back to work by Easter. New numbers released this afternoon show there are now 54 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Spokane County. That's a 63% increase from the 33 cases we had just yesterday. There was also 27 cases in Grant County and more than 1,300 in King County. Statewide, Washington health officials report more than 2,400 cases and 123 deaths. Meantime, Idaho now has 123 confirmed coronavirus cases. Kootenai County reported 2 more confirmed cases, bringing the total to 9. Idaho Governor Brad Little has confirmed that due to community transmission of the coronavirus, a statewide shutdown is now in place effective immediately for 21 days. All non-essential businesses are to close. This means businesses like gyms, bars, salons, and convention centers must close. Restaurants can still remain open for drive-through, delivery, or takeout options. Residents must also limit all non-essential travel.
Our healthcare, public safety workers are putting themselves in harm's way to respond to the coronavirus emergency. And we owe it to them to do our part by following the statewide stay-home order. The statewide stay-home order.
Governor Little also stated that an emergency declaration for Idaho has been signed. This allows the state to be more effective in increasing the healthcare capacity so the system isn't overrun. The Idaho National Guard is also preparing to help local authorities. I want to get back now to our top story about the U.S. Senate passing that massive stimulus bill to inject $2 trillion into the U.S. economy as many people are struggling amid this coronavirus pandemic. KREM 2's Regina On is live in the newsroom tonight with more on how this bill aims to help Americans. Regina?
Hey, good evening, Mark. The White House says that President Trump is ready to sign that stimulus package as soon as it passes the House and Senate. The president is also stepping up his calls to get Americans back to work. Now, the bill includes a cash payment of up to $1,200 for most working Americans and $500 for children. It also expands unemployment insurance for an additional 13 weeks and boosts the benefits by $600 for up to 4 months. The plan contains nearly $400 billion in loans and grants to small businesses to keep workers on the payroll, plus another $500 billion in loans for major industries like the airlines. It also provides more than $130 billion for the nation's healthcare providers.
This will help businesses keep workers on the payroll and allow our economy to quickly accelerate as soon as we defeat the virus.
The president saying he'll reevaluate when the national 15-day social distancing guidelines expires next week. The House is likely to take at least 24 hours to read and debate the bill before taking a vote. Back to you, Mark.
All right, Regina, thank you very much. And we encourage you to text us any questions you have about the coronavirus to the number 509-448-2000. Specifically, text us the word facts to that same number for the very latest on COVID-19. Okay, aside from coronavirus today, the weather was also a big issue. Whitney, I woke up to snow on the ground here on the South Hill. You live up north. Did you get snow as well?
Oh boy, it was full of snow. I woke up to almost 2 inches on the ground. And then I just went back to bed because I said, I'm done with that. So I'm glad that most of it is melting. In fact, if you take a look at this, there is video of the snow falling out of the National Weather Service office. This was in Airway Heights this morning. I think a lot of people were a little bit surprised. I know that we had kind of warned people that it was possible, but you know, sometimes when you're so thinking spring, I just wasn't ready for it. Thomas, I know that you probably heard a lot of that from people today as well.
Just a little bit, but put this in perspective. Our average last snowfall in Spokane is March 28th. That's still 3 days from now, so this is not unusual to get some snow. Maybe a little bit more than expected, but we did have some light snow in the forecast. But I think a lot of areas already are seeing it melt pretty quickly. I love this picture. It was just shared on my Facebook page within the last hour here from Randa Lynn in Mount Spokane. Yeah, fresh coating of snow at 9 o'clock in the morning. By 4 o'clock, it was all gone. So if you woke up late, maybe you didn't even see it at all. Keep those weather pictures coming in. Make sure to share those over on my Facebook and Twitter pages. Don't forget to give it a like while you're there. Still raining or snowing or showering in a few locations across the inland Northwest. Most of it is pretty light. Not expecting any more snow accumulations, but still it might be possible for another hour or two. But a much bigger, much more broad weather system starts to take shape over this upcoming weekend. So we're tracking when to expect the next rainfall chances and just how strong the winds are going to be by the time we get to Sunday of next week. I have those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Thomas, thank you very much. Today, Governor Jay Inslee signed a plastic bag ban into law in Washington. This after repeated attempts in Olympia and despite some last-minute objections that actually had to do with the coronavirus. Our political reporter Casey Decker is joining us now live from his home to explain what this bill does and what the objections were. Hi, Casey.
Hey, Whitney. Well, the law is, of course, designed to reduce waste and encourage people to bring their own reusable bags to the store. That means shoppers will pay a tiny bit extra if they don't have those reusable bags. Starting January 1st, stores in Washington will no longer be able to offer plastic bags at checkout. Now, this doesn't ban all plastic bags in grocery stores, say the ones you use inside the store to load up on nuts or produce. The law also places an 8-cent fee on each paper bag, meaning if you don't bring a reusable, you will have to pay a little extra. This also requires that paper bags be a certain strength and made of at least 40% recycled material. It passed both the House and Senate overwhelmingly with support from both Democrats and many Republicans, some of whom felt it could help out the local paper industry. It did face some last-minute opposition from at least one senator who called on Inslee to veto the bill because of coronavirus. He argues that reusable bags are less sanitary. In fact, we have seen in some cities nationwide where bans like this already exist, they're being temporarily lifted. However, as I mentioned, this law doesn't go into effect until the start of the year, so the hope is by that point, this won't be an issue anymore. Whitney?
All right, Casey, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Washington State troopers are mourning the loss of one of their own tonight. Trooper Justin Schaefer died just last night after being hit by a fleeing driver. Chris Daniels explains the big impact that trooper had on his community.
You could say Trooper Justin Schaefer was born into law enforcement. Schaefer is the son of a police chief. His dad, Glenn, leads the department in Chehalis.
It sounds like you know the Schaefer family well.
I do know them.
Thurston County Sheriff John Snaza says Justin followed in his dad's footsteps, starting his career at just 21 years old and rising to become a proud canine officer for the Washington State Patrol.
Justin, as a man, obviously willing to make the sacrifices that he saw his father do.
It was a job he was doing last night on I-5 near Chehalis, laying down spike strips to stop a high-speed chase, when court documents say driver William Thompson of Olympia veered toward Schaefer, launching him 120 feet. The collision killed Schaefer. Another impact caused damage to a different trooper's car, which could have mortally wounded him. Thompson, according to the document, was under the influence of narcotics or intoxicants and wanted in this incident the day before at a Lacey Mini Mart. Police say video shows Thompson stealing lighter fluid and waving a taser gun at a clerk and witness. Thompson, who appeared in court this afternoon via teleconference, faces multiple felony charges in at least 2 counties related to the spree and the death of the trooper.
Men and women in law enforcement, fire, EMS, we sacrifice our lives every day for the citizens of this state. And I just want I would like people to know that this is something that we chose to do. But it just goes to show you the sacrifice that the men and women are willing to give for this state and for the communities that they serve.
A big thank you to Trooper Justin Schaefer and, of course, to all of our local officers as well.